Am I the asshole for kicking my husband out of the hospital after he refused to drive me and my daughter there? I have a 14-year-old daughter. Her bio dad passed away when she was 4 and her uncle was her father figure for the next 6 years of her life. Then he unfortunately got sick with cancer and passed away shortly. She has been having abandonment issues and trust issues and wouldn't easily open up about her feelings unless to those who are close to her. When she met my husband, she didn't immediately warm up to him. She said she doesn't see him as a father figure but has been spoiled and kind towards him. My husband kept trying to get close to her and do all he could to get to know her more and get her to open up to him. It affected her mental health because she felt like he was forcing a relationship, and I already told him to give her space and time and she'll come around on her own terms. He didn't stop trying, and saw it like it was a challenge of some sort, which caused so many issues between us two. About 3 months ago, I found out that he snooped on her therapy and I had a huge fight with him about it and told him he wasn't her dad and he had no right to force it on her. He apologized profoundly but said from that moment on he'd no longer try to be her father because he is not and will never be, his own words. I noticed he has stopped doing anything for her, like bringing gifts and playing video games with her. I wanted to ask, but he said no one is entitled to a gift or his free time. Last week she fell off the stairs and hurt her ankle. I freaked out because it was painful and she was in a lot of pain. I called my husband and told him to come take her to the hospital. His response was that since he is not her dad, then he didn't have to do anything for her, then hung up on me knowing I can't drive for medical reasons, and I can't afford an ambulance. I called my mill and she came and took us to the hospital. She must have gave my husband grief about refusing to help because he showed up to the hospital looking worried and acting like he cared. I yelled at him and demanded that he leave because he had no right to come and act worried after he ignored my daughter and me when in dire need for help. He argued back, then began crying, swearing on his mother that my daughter is the light of his life and that he refused to help because he was upset with us. He begged that him stay, I insisted that he leave. His mom didn't say anything at first but then told me that her son didn't mean to ignore us and that he really loves my daughter. I told her this attitude isn't acceptable. Imagine if I needed him for something more serious and he decided to ignore us because he felt hurt? I went to stay with my friend and brought my daughter. He tried sending flowers and a new electronic devices but all got returned. He's all over me, texting and calling telling me to let it go and that I punished him enough by kicking him out of the hospital. His mom didn't say anything at first but then told me that her son didn't mean to ignore us, who cares? He did ignore you, when there was a medical emergency. And it wasn't an accident or an oversight, it was a conscious decision. So he put sulking ahead of your daughter's health. Your daughter, who he claims is the light of his life. His crying sounds like crocodile tears. Not the asshole, obviously. To hell with him. He is useless. Absolutely not. He needs a therapist, and you need to get some space away from him. I'm not screaming divorce, but it's certainly on the table. He left you and your daughter to the wild because his feelings were hurt, boo fucking who. She was hurt, it was an emergency, and you don't have to be someone's dad to have a little compassion. To hell with that guy, get away from him and clear your head. Some of these responses are troubling to me. Op stated that she told her husband that he wasn't her child's dad after he snooped on her child's therapy. What kind of monster snoops on another person's therapy? That's a huge violation of privacy. This extreme overcorrection behavior was designed to punish you. I bet he thought this would make you miss his intrusive behavior. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If he genuinely cared for her, nothing would have stopped him from taking her to the hospital when she was hurt. That's a parent. Being childish and having a strop because a child, who has suffered major losses already, didn't trust him on his schedule, in his way, for his gratification equals not a parent. He only cried and pretended to care about her when his actions were exposed to his mother. He's fake. You can't trust him to care for your child. On a basic level of bodily injury, never mind her emotional and mental well-being. Plus the sneaking into her therapy. He's crossed significant other many lines. You are the asshole for exposing your daughter to this man. You are the asshole if you don't leave him immediately after this. Continuing this marriage will harm your daughter and your relationship with her. Choose wisely. Not the asshole, but you mean your ex-husband, right? Am I the asshole for not telling my husband where his son was? I, 27F, married my husband, 37M, 4 years ago. He has 3 children from his previous marriage, 16M twins, 13F. From the very beginning, I was super clear with them that while I'd love a relationship, I'd never try to force them into anything, especially not a parental one. And, for the most part, that's been going about as well as you'd expect. I'm Dad's wife, nothing more. However, when the twins first started learning to drive last summer, I told them both that driving would give them new freedom, and I knew the stuff teenagers got up to. I then said that while I get that's part of growing up, their safety is the most important thing, so if they ever felt like they were in an unsafe situation and needed an out, don't hesitate to call me. I would come get them no matter what, no questions asked, and Dad didn't have to know. Husband and his ex tend to be very liberal with punishments. They brushed me off at the time, and I thought very little of it. Fast forward. Last Friday one of the boys, B from now on, was supposed to be staying at a friend's house after prom. At 2:30 a.m. I'm up finishing a bit of grinding in my game when I get a call from him. B explains in a shaky and slurred voice that he was at a senior girl's house party and the friend who drove had ditched him. And he had been drinking. A lot. And please don't tell Dad. I've already snuck out of the house and I just say, "Don't worry, your father's asleep and I'm on my way." He texts me the address after some coaxing, and within 30 minutes I'm discreetly shuffling a drunken, shaking boy into my passenger seat. He's crying within 5 minutes of leaving. I did my best to comfort him. I drove through McDonald's and got him a burger and ice cream. I get him home, sneak him back into his room and get him safe in bed. I don't sleep from constantly checking on him to be sure he doesn't show signs of alcohol poisoning. Husband leaves for work early Saturday morning so he doesn't notice B is home. B is nursing a bit of a hangover but is fine. Ever since, both the twins have warmed to me exponentially. I even heard B say, "My dad and stepmom's house," instead of "my dad's house." Stepmom. But, yesterday, my husband put 2 plus 2 together after some combination of local gossip and testimony from his daughter, what actually happened, and it came out what I did. Obviously he was mad that I knew and didn't tell him. I told him I wouldn't apologize for showing his son to ask for help in bad situations, nor would I condone punishing him for doing exactly what he should have done to fix a mistake he clearly already learned from. Husband says I undercut him in the role of his child's father by going behind his back. The ex says I overstepped entirely. But I still think I did the right thing. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. It is so incredibly rare for a teenager to feel a strong enough connection with an adult that they would actually reach out when they don't feel safe somewhere. You could have easily saved him a hospital visit or a slow death on a high school girl's floor. You absolutely did the right thing, and you're an amazing stepmother. Not the asshole. Teenagers need more people in their lives that are willing to say, "Let's get you cleaned up," and not, "You're grounded forever." The boy probably learned a lot more from that evening than he would have if Dad had showed up yelling. He's safe. That's what matters. Not the asshole, you did the right thing. That's what my mother teached me. And I did call her at 1:30 in the morning at 15 because I was in a similar situation. I never got scolded, because the fright itself was enough, and because I did the right thing. Trust is important. Not the asshole. Authoritarian parents produce sneaky children, not obedient children. This kid could have easily gotten into a lot of trouble or foolishness because he thought he could not ask for help when he was in danger. 10 out of 10 good step parenting. Good parenting centers the needs of the child, not the needs of the parent. Your husband has an emotional need to be obeyed, and that has been thwarted. That need is far less important than your stepchild's need to go to people who are trustworthy for help. Honestly. Not the asshole. Kid's safe and knows he's got someone he can ask for help. I'd tell hubby exactly what happened. He called me 'cause he was stuck at a party. He knows he messed up and was being responsible, because I went and got him. He's home safe with a hangover rather than ending up with a DUI or MIP, Mike, and I doubt he'll make this mistake again. Also, he now trusts me. Would you rather he not have had a safe option to get home and have ended up in jail, or the hospital? No assholes here because there are a lot of perspectives. You did the right thing for B. Completely understandable that Dad would be upset that he wasn't the one who was called, and he probably feels like you are against him in his own family. Also understandable that B's mother isn't pleased. However, children need safe adults, and you played that role when it was needed. B might have made a bad decision without a safe adult to call. There's a reason he didn't call his father or his mother. They should reflect on that and be glad there was an adult their son trusted enough to call in a difficult situation. Update. Am I the asshole for calling my mom's fiancé a creep? Hi. So this has been a wild week and I wanted to thank your comments and suggestions. They helped me through this. As I said in my last edit, we went to dinner. At first, everything was silent, but then Anne broke the ice by thanking my mom and Rick for spending time with us and that we should discuss important matters. I didn't know about this, but my mom has been awful to Anne and Leo this week. They addressed that if she wants us to be part of her life, then some changes should be made. After they established their points, it was my turn. I started by stating Rick's presence has been bothering me since day one. Even if I should have said something about it, didn't justify his behavior. I appreciate the effort, but he has crossed my boundaries, and even if I am willing to have a relationship as friends with him, I'd not offer that option anymore if he continues this way. Also, I'll soon be an adult, so I don't need a parental figure, I already have one. Then pointed out that my mom was allowing this kind of behavior, and it is wrong. If she is not willing to act as a parent and understand my feelings, not only mine but my siblings too, then we'd rather cut our losses. My mom tried to justify her actions. Rick told her to shut up and listen to us. She stormed out of the restaurant, but he stayed. He looked sad, and apologized for all this. He didn't mean for this to happen. He asked Anne and Leo if they could give us some space so he and I could talk. Leo grabbed me, but Anne gave him a look, so he let go of me and went to a closed table. Rick apologized again, saying he is not like that and the feeling he might not connect with me took out the best on him. Then told me he is my bio dad. My mom was supposed to tell me today, but she cowardly left. He doesn't expect me to accept him in my life, but if ever want to know him or need anything, he'll always be there. When we came back home, I asked my dad. He hugged me and told me everything he knew about it. The thing is, they don't know. The reason my parents divorced was because my mom cheated on him, and after she broke up with Rick, she was pregnant with me. My dad suspected it but never confirmed it. When they divorced, my mom out of rage told him I wasn't his son. Then Rick contacted him to talk about it. He told me, however, I feel it's okay. I shouldn't feel pressured to act in a certain way. If I want to get tested, he'll help me, and no matter what that paper says, his love for me won't change. I'll always be his son. I'm not sure how to feel, but I asked Rick to give me space so I could think about all of this. Also asked my dad if we could just simply be out of our mom's life. I don't want to be involved with her, and neither my siblings. If I am honest, I don't know if I ever want to get tested or the least allow Rick to be part of my life. But I feel grateful for the family I have, and all the support and love my dad and siblings have been giving to me. That's all I have for you. Edit. Hi. Thank you for all your comments and even the funny ones. Y'all made me smile and I guess I needed that. I really liked the Mary Poppins one and the references to Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't express how y'all have helped me to appreciate the family I already have, and how blood not equals family. Thank you again for that. I wish had answers for your questions related to the reason of my existence. As I said, I haven't talked to Rick since that night, and I guess I didn't have the courage to ask. This whole thing has drained me, and I am not sure if I even want to know. Guess that I'll only make things worse. My perception I have of my mom, as if it wasn't as bad as it is now, and also in terms of Rick. If she lied to him or not, or why he neglected me for years. For the moment I don't want to know. I don't think it will add something meaningful to me. So I guess I'd leave it like that for now. One thing I may be doing, it's getting tested, to have a complete medical record. So thank you again for your comments, they really have impacted me. Some made me cry happy tears. Thanks for the update. That must be a complete headfake for you. I don't know what else to say other than wish you luck. I would love to give you some sound advice, but this is way off the map for me. Anyway, best wishes from an internet stranger. MTA, and glad you have more info. Sounds like Rick might be okay. Just a bit awkward, bit trying to make up for things. Maybe it would be worth giving him a chance. That's up to you. Really, this sounds like a mess your mom created and sustained. Understand why you want to be away from her. It is possible that Rick has mixed feeling about your mom and that he might want a relationship with you more than her. Hard to tell. Anyway, it's your choice how to approach all this. Take your time. This will take time. Welp. The man who raised you is a stand-up guy no matter what the DNA says. Holy moly, I guess Reddit wasn't wrong. I'm sorry for your mom. Some people are not meant to be parents. But good riddance. You don't owe your mother or Rick anything. She hasn't been acting like a mother, and Rick, even if he donated a sperm cell, has never been your father. You have a father. Don't try to have a relationship with your mother and Rick unless and until you are ready. You owe them nothing. Original link. Am I the asshole for ordering extra spicy food and embarrassing a date? I'm 20 female, half Chinese from my mom's side. I recently met a guy, 23 male, on Tinder. When I told him my background, he started talking about how much he loves Chinese food and asked me out to dinner and for me to pick my favorite restaurant. There's a great, authentic Sichuan restaurant in our city, so I suggested that. I warned him that it's quite spicy. I have many American friends that say they love Chinese food, but what they really mean is they love Panda Express. Nothing wrong with that, I love American Chinese food too, I just wanted to make sure. He said it's fine, he's been to that restaurant before and it wasn't even that spicy. Then he made a joke about how he's offended. After this I'm not sure if it was a joke. I don't think he can eat spicy food. He has a lot of Asian friends and can handle spice better than some of them. We agreed on a date and went to this restaurant. I ordered my dish in Chinese. I look white from my dad, so if I ever order in English, I always get a pretty mild dish, but if I order in Chinese, they'll always make it spicier. My date told me to order for him too, and that he wanted it very spicy. She asked me in Chinese if he was sure, and I said yes, make it extra spicy, he can handle it. Food comes out, and it's spicy. A couple of bites in and he starts struggling. I asked how the food is, and he's still putting up a strong front, but he's barely eating it anymore. The waitress came over and starts speaking to me in Chinese, asking how the food is, the usual small talk, and then said in English to him, "Too spicy?" and laughed a little. I didn't think she was being rude. She's probably used to people ordering food too spicy for them all the time, and I laughed a little too. The second she walks away, he asked what I said to her in Chinese, and tells me I ordered it extra spicy to make fun of him because he ate at this place multiple times, but it was never like this, so I must have said something. I try to explain the whole ordering in English versus Chinese thing, that many Asian restaurants will do, white spicy. It happens to me at Thai restaurants all the time unless I'm with a Thai friend. I tried a bite of his and it's the same, so he tried mine and he said how mine is way less spicy, but even after I trade with him, he basically only ate rice for the rest of the dinner. After I got home, he texted me saying how it was rude that I purposely ordered and spoke Chinese to the waitress in front of him, even though he asked me to order, that I wanted to embarrass him on purpose and that I ruined his meal just so I can laugh at him not being able to handle it. I told some of my friends so we can laugh about this ridiculous date, but they think I should have known better that he wasn't going to be able to eat that food because he probably always got white spicy and was just being cocky, trying to impress me or something, so I shouldn't have told the restaurant to make it extra spicy just to prove that he can't actually handle it. Not the asshole. I think he got what he asked for and shouldn't have bragged so much. Maybe next time he won't claim he can handle the spice. Not the asshole. My date told me to order for him too, and that he wanted it very spicy. He got what he asked for. He texted me saying how it was rude that I purposely ordered and spoke Chinese to the waitress in front of him. Your date. You're half Chinese, speaking to a Chinese server in a Chinese restaurant. Don't do that. It's rude. Oh my. Not the asshole, you dodged a bullet there. Would have been real fun dating Mr. Insecure Masculinity. Not the asshole. I seriously don't understand the ego some people have about spice tolerance. It's food. Eat it how you enjoy it. Not the asshole, his ego is bruised, and soon his bum will be too. A lesson well learned. Do I believe him when he says he's been there and can handle the spice, and order the dish like he asked, then have to deal with him lashing out when it turns out he actually can't handle it? Or do I dismiss his opinion and order only what, I should have known, he can handle, and get yelled at because he's offended that I don't think he can eat spicy food? There's no way to win except not to play. Guy can't admit that he overestimated himself, and decided it's your fault. I'd say marinara flags, but given the situation maybe Sichuan chili flags here. Not the asshole.